This is the last part of 2002. And what I'm going to do is show you a little bit of art. This is Rye with his power glove. More of a comic book fashion. And we'll have Gino right here. That's Gino being Gino. I don't know what he's fingering about, but he's being gross for whatever reason. That's his character. That's the lot. Okay, let's see what else we have here. It's all over the place. Let me show you a couple more here, a few more, and then I'll do some more commentary. Now this one, I'll bring this up close a bit. These are all the characters I created for a time. What this represented, I did this in 2002, like the fall, like around August. So you have the Mexican Avenger on the top. You have the Time Master here. You have Lupe here. You have Frankenstein. Martin Lawrence kind of character, Tommy from Martin. You have the Race Master. You have like basketball and baseball mascots. You have insect creature aliens. This also marks the first time we see Juicho, Juicho, and Violet. Violet is Rosemary's half-sister, and Juicho is Gino's uncle. You have, what we have here is Rosemary's dance party. This is an alternate universe where Rosemary and her talking dog, frog, penguin, and cat do a dance, like an 80s dance. Here you got the guy, the crossing guard, Mexican crossing guard. You got the original Circus Freaks here. Remember these characters? This is back from the 90s. You got the Skull Bashers. These were stuntmen football players. These ones here. There's Santa Claus and the reindeer. This is an alien. He was called the Adapter. I called him Io later on. Here we have Caesar Cruz, a black gang leader and a gothic gang leader. Then we got a two-headed guy, a cholo and a white guy. We have Missy with curly hair. We have Zetro, who is Gamma Droid Prime right now, and Zetrobot in the back. We got Roth McGoth, the blue hair right here, the clown. And that's Artie Choka, the green guy. That's Burger Thug and Volturo. And then you got the Outcasts, Drake, Rye, Gino, Rosemary, and Jorge. This was the beginning of adding more characters beyond the main five. So the Circus Freaks started in the 90s. Then I skipped them and worked on the Outcasts. And then I added characters. So this was, I still have that piece. And later on I'll show it. But yeah, this was all the hard work that I put together in like a couple of weeks' time. And then we go to this one. I do this in the morning and my throat is fucked, so what are you going to do? There's Drake, Rye, Gino, Rosemary, and Jorge in a spaceship. Drake's holding all the guns. I worked more on shading. I did this in the last comic strip where you have light and darks. So I work a little bit on this. Just a little bit. Let's see. Now let's go through these very carefully. I may have to look for another one here. Hold on. I may have to look for another one. I have to go all over the fucking place to find everything I want, to get everything I need, to do everything a certain way. I don't want to show you all this yet. Actually, yeah. But wait, hold on. So, I came up with an idea in my mind, okay? And it was called Through the Years. So, you know, in comic strips, characters don't age. Bart Simpson doesn't age, Garfield doesn't age and die. The Peanuts never grow old. I decided to make these characters older. So if you didn't know, Drake, Rye, Gino, and Rosemarie are in their 20s, and Rye is a kid. So here you have Rye in his 20s, and everybody's in their 30s. And eventually, let's see if I get this right. Yeah, and here they are in their 40s, and Rye's in his 30s. That would be my character as a taxi driver, Rosemarie as a ringmaster for fights, Gino's a cop, Jorge's a wrestler, Rye's a firefighter. The idea is that I wrote down that the Outcasts have a final like adventure together. They rob a bank and they all get arrested and go to jail. So Drake, Rye, Gino, and Rose and Jorge go to men's prison. Rosemarie goes to women's prison. So all five of them go to two separate prisons, and they serve out a sentence for about almost 10 years, and they get out. And they live out their lives, doing different things, and eventually they do different kinds of jobs separately from each other, not together. Let me see if I have this all together. Wait a minute. Like I said, it's all over the fucking place. I haven't seen this stuff in years. Here's Jorge, Drake, Gino, and Rosemarie in their 50s, Rye in his 40s. And I think this is the part where Jorge dies of just poor health. So everybody starts to die off through the years. Let me see. The idea is that each character dies of natural causes. I'm not ready to show you all this stuff yet. Here we have, so Jorge died, right? And in its place you have Syllabone. But then wait a minute, let me see if I got this right. Hold on. I think I did this wrong. I do a lot of things wrong here. Here. It's all over the damn place. So here is Drake, Rye, Gino, and Rosemarie. Jorge has died. This is Syllabone. This is a robot dog that replaces Jorge in some fashion. It's like a toddler. It's like a puppy. It doesn't really say much. But this is just showing that the characters grow old. Okay? So this is them in their senior years. Rosemarie smoked. The real Rosemarie that I knew smoked. She smoked cigarettes. I don't know. Hopefully she stopped. Hopefully she quit. But it got so bad that she had to wear a portable tank on her wrists. So that was hard on her. And now we can go back to this one. So she dies. And this girl here takes her place. This is Tulip. So Tulip is Rosemarie's replacement. She's like a kid who wears, if I can get that a little bit, like a skull mask. And here's Syllabone again. Drake, Rye, and Gino. Let's see. I think Rye's in his 60s and these two are in their 70s. So it's just showing them through the years. It's showing each character passing away to show immortality. I was inspired by Mo Howard and the Three Stooges, reading the life story. That's how I got to it. And this final one was an inspiration. Gino passes away from his poor health, and Zether, or Zither, I call it Zether. This is Zether. He's a musician. Tulip is into flowers. He's into music, and Syllabone is a robot. Why is he jumping in the background? Because Jorge would be a big, tall person, and Syllabone would be down here. So, I don't know. I guess it doesn't make sense to do it that way, but that's the way I did it. And so you have these 5 characters. And so eventually Rye passes away from his poor health, and Drake is the last one. And in the afterlife, he reunites with the other 4 characters. So Syllabone, Zether, and Tulip are definitely in in my the last book that I wrote and finished, which was called Green Pueblo, about going to the islands, getting away from the troubles of the ancient states. We will definitely get into that later. So yeah, Drake and the others reunite. I mean, they would look the same as in the afterlife. I'm going to go ahead and put this in, let's put this in slide mode, and I'll talk a little bit more. So for this time period, I was getting into creating more. I was getting into doing more, making, all kinds of, let me zoom out a little bit. This was hard. I mean, doing all this work, I thought I was on the right track. I was creating characters, I was adding characters, I was making characters happen. It was just the thought process and just putting it all together. This was hard. And you can't do it, in a heartbeat. You have to take your time. Looking back now that the art was so bad and the characters' faces were all over the place, and I needed to do more. I needed to really add more. And it wasn't until the next year, 2003, that I started to look at these characters more seriously. It started with through the years. The plot was never in a comic strip form. It was just an art form and in my head. The idea was that unlike Garfield the cat, unlike Kathy, well, Kathy aged, she got married, right? From the Kathy comic strip. Unlike the Peanuts and Family Circus and Garfield and BC, the characters grow old. You know what I mean? They grow old, they age. Looking at Mo Howard and how he lost his brothers and Larry Fine and in real life, and then he passed away. It's like seeing the characters age and seeing them mortalities. Smoking, being overweight, losing your mobility in your legs, heart conditions, all kinds of stuff. So these characters would age and grow old. And I felt like at that point I was done trying to do this version of the characters. I stuck through with the Outcasts. But then I said I wanted to do more. I wanted to add more to this. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, what you're looking at now is all the stuff I did in the previous videos. But when you create characters, like I said, the first time you do it, it's going to be dog shit. But later on, you'll be happy for it. So we'll sign out, and I'll come out with 2003 the next weekend. So around the 28th, 27th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th. So we'll close out, I guess, on Jorge's comic strip. This is Maestro Drake signing out. Be kind, be cruel, but be yourselves.